Yo, we're going Prezzisquad, so we're here at the car wash, you know. See, we have the whole of Prezzisquad, you know. Yeah, so we're here doing the over there, so don't know if you guys can see him, but so we have an interview doing. I don't know, you must know doing, if you don't know doing, on the last to Jamaica. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Just make know which artist you don't want to see. And you don't know. We try to get it right.
No, we're gonna get them for
right now.
Welcome Prezzisquad. Team of Prezzi back with the whole of Prezzisquad here. Here we're doing Stevenson today. And this guy can interview, just get to know a little more about it. Alright, so remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow our different YouTube channels right about now. The Instagrams are going to be down below. Follow and
for the YouTube channel, everything. So let's get into it. So what influenced you to join the music industry?
Well, music industry is always something that I've always loved doing, singing and just being around music, you know. Aside from that, it probably was the only true thing that I was naturally good at. So I decided to do the smart thing.
makes sense.
When I was small, you like singing and those stuff.
Yeah man, I'm always singing. It's just that in the beginning, it like the kind of attention that it brought and everything. It's a matter of fact in a corner or something. But so that's why I never really did anything serious in music until I was about 16 years old. You know? Like when I was going to school, we won Prezzident, Artiste, Boss and Culture. Then of course there was Prefect Lucky D at the time. There was the teacher, lieutenant teacher just leave. So trust me, a lot of it was going on. I didn't think I needed one more at the time.
Very cool. Look. Alright, so what would you say was your most memorable performance?
Yeah, probably the first time I performed in Suriname. This was a few months after the first album came out, So of course, there was a little bit of hoopla at the airport and everything, and some interviews, and but I wasn't thinking much of it until the night of the show, and I went, and the show was being held at a place called Flamboyant Park. The capacity legally was supposed to be about 7,000 people. I think about almost 10,000 people return. So when I go in and see all them care, I say, what? Something's going on? I say, no man. The show, man. I say, the show. So what's up on the show? I say, some of the little artists. So, no man, you're the headliner, you're a show, brother. So all the people come to me. Luckily we have good support. At the time, it was the first band with man like Jerks, Wade, Monty, and them out there. Of course, so luckily I had a great support. Tamar, Shanti, in the background. Workout.
So how did you feel hearing your first song on radio?
Well, it was an amazing feeling. The first time I actually heard one of my songs playing on radio was the original recording of Get Up Pain, which was supposedly done by Twice, but I sang all the lead because, of course, it wasn't the most flamboyant song. When the man himself, me sang the old man song, and that was an old man song. I got it. And I was in a taxi, and when it came on, I think Richie B was the first person who played it. I think I was coming in from like Links till I wanted the place. And the taxi driver hit us, boy, I'm throwing a body and turned it up and everything. And we at the front, try to keep a calm still and thing. But the fact is, the taxi driver turned up and the man beat it about 3-4 times and people still are calling him. So I look like a future about man. Yeah, maybe one day we can pay 2 bills,
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
So I'm doing. Have you ever forgotten the words of a song during performance?
Regular man. You have to just make it up along the way sometimes. No man, trust me. Sometimes, depending on where you go, when you've been around like me to different places, you find that many times you're going to some territories. And the song, when the man asks you not to remember, say record it. Yeah, that's really? Yeah, man. Many times, so sometimes you catch you off guard, so you have to get backstage and try to learn words and try to remind yourself of the song. And ultimately, that's not going to work because you have to put in the work before. So of course, when the whole of the show go and reach us and they say, yeah, it's start again, you know? Yeah, many times I have to just make up all the whole verse, man. You have to skill them with them and make it look like a part of the show. Involve people them too, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have to involve them in their own deception, you know? They're not gonna buy it.
What song was the first hit?
I think I would say it was Get Up In with To ISIS, as a member to ISIS. But in terms of beyond that, it definitely would be August, because that was the first album that was the tune that really got me out here. And after August, the whole music industry kind of changed for me, you know what I mean? In terms of, you know, even the places I went to, the kind of respect I got and everything. So it was, the breakout song for me was August.
So, you regret starting a music career?
No, man, I have no regrets, man. The thing about life, you know, bro, you see, once you commit to something and put in the work, 99% of the time, man, the work pays off, you know, and I know that, you know, I've done a whole lot, you know, when a lot of people sleeping, I out there on the grind, you know, writing, singing, doing, because I learned all facets of the music business. Because being a member of the ISIS was one thing, you know, and I thought that it was enough because, you know, you sing 6-part harmony and everything, but then moving on from that, I had to relearn the whole business through Dean Fraser and learn to, you know, just look at the perspective and, you know, you have to be creative to different levels, different heights. You know, make up your own background, come up with the ideas for the whole song instead of just the part that you're singing. So, I have no regrets, you know, I put in the work and it paid off.
So, during your career, have you missed any family time?
I miss a whole lot of family time, man. A whole lot of birthdays, you know what I mean, and a few funerals, you know, and any kind of thing. But that's a part of it, you know, and anything that you're doing. Once you have any level of success, you're going to have to sacrifice a few things along the way. You just have to know where the important points are and you have to prioritize. You have to know when to say, alright, I'll show you now, and go on. Yeah. Understand? And then you have to know when to call in and lend me support from a distance.
So, what really inspired you to do music?
As I said, it's always something that I love. And once I start getting a little bit more in depth in the music, the more I fell in love with it. Because initially I started with theatre, you know, so yeah, man, theatre I start, man. We go out to ballet class, man, and things. Until them decide, so boy, I have to go dress proper for the dance thing. And I was never a dance, I don't have a dancing going in my body, you know. But you know, it was a part of the thing and everybody go and once them say, you have to get rid of sweatpants and just properly, and I say, you have to get rid of dancing. That's not a workout, you know. It was never my thing, you know. You have to smart in life and you have to know where your future don't lie. I mean, I started out playing tennis as a youth and as much as I coach kids when I was around 15, 16, big up to Mr. Palmer and everything, I always knew that I was a way better coach than I was a player. I was never going to break on the scene as a pro. It never happened. You know what I mean? So you have to make decisions according. You know what I mean?
Really. Alright, so if you have any haters, how do you deal with the hating that day? You know?
So you have to just be an example of what you want people to see. You know what I mean? You have to be a vision. You have to, not everybody going to like you. But that don't say you have to, you know, you can't go low with a man. You have to stay high and give him and pull him up. You know what I mean? I say, people always hate for different reasons and you never know on the time you take to go invest in a hate. You have to just preserve your own future and just go and search forward and eventually some of them will come along, some of them will fall by the way and some might become fans, you never know.
Listening to you, you sound like you're a family person. What was your reaction to see a family member if there was one at your performance?
It's to me, I don't like family members at performance. To me, I'm more pressure. We have more pressure, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you think about, sometimes you don't think about the views and everything. But, you know, that's one of the reasons why I do the kind of music that I do, you know, because we can imagine I sing certain things in front of my mother and my auntie. You know, what them things, yeah, but the truth is, you know, it's always a good feeling when you're supported. When you have the family support at any level, it always makes things a little bit easier. And, you know, especially when them look admirable to what you're doing, you know. I always give that extra boost to push you forward, despite the levels, you know what I mean?
So, if you were supposed to sing a song to inspire people throughout this COVID period, which song would it be?
Wow. Why 3 little birds, boy? And it's a rough year, but we have to be hopeful. 3 little birds is just a sunset. It's by walk one. Everything alright. Sun still a shine, birds still a sing. As long as you're in life, there's hope. You know what I mean, what we're going through right now is unprecedented. We've never seen it before in our generation. I mean, you will only read about it, the Spanish flu and whatever, which I imagine is a whole different thing. At least nowadays, we have great doctors and scientists that can come up with, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, because back in the days, the Spanish flu, you know, let's say they just stop. Yeah, before that, the plague even worse than that. When the man find out they have the plague, the man spends around
Body
the house. Yeah.
I say, ever come out.
Yeah, you know. And they must burn that man, so I'm not be grateful. That will be worse, my brother, trust me.
So, pandemic, ever inside and say, like, I'm misperforming?
Yeah, well, definitely, trust me, it's something I always go and miss, you know. But I mean, like, think about it, like, who not really missing? I mean, a lot of kids, I'm sure, one of the guys who have got to school and all, I'm sure they're missing a merch, you know, it's just for camaraderie and them kind of vibe that.
Yeah.
And I mean, aside from the fact that, you know, we really miss the paychecks. You know what I mean? Definitely. I mean, it's a part of the industry. We never saw this coming. I mean, like, it's unimaginable that for one whole year you wouldn't have contact with fans in terms of on-end plans, as in you're sitting there or standing there or whatever. So maybe this is an opportunity to really think how we're going about it. Because no for when you get big and famous, you take fans for granted, you know, because you feel like you're up it, you know, so them the right so you're hype, you know?
Yeah.
And then like for one whole year, you know, whatever the right is a rasta, you have to sing to a camera if any at all.
You get lucky.
Yeah, man.
Alright, so if you had the chance to work with an artist, who would it be?
If I had the chance, probably Sting. Yeah, man, I know what it is, Sting, you know where I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the name, you know.
The original man was saying, hey, Mr. Beauty.
Oh.
Not Puff Daddy, you know, because I know, so yeah, them want to know Puff Daddy. But the original Bridget, you know what I mean? So yeah, them Bridget, they are really great writers, you know what I mean? I'm just like the fact said. Writing is a thing that I think I was more into before singing itself, you know what I mean? So I definitely look up to them, man. And the fact that I always keep it real, keep it on the same kind of vibe, and it's very original in the way his approach to writing, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, it's not like nowadays a man will tell you about, yeah man, prostitute and that guy, man, say no, I man say, red dress, you have to put it together. And just know some boy a prostitute him at all. So you hear something. But nowadays a lot of dance music are going and man and sing about exactly what man. Yes, and the girl going down the road, ooh, she buck her toe on the right. You know, you can say boy, she walk around the road and then she feel a pain and it's a whole different thing, you know, but yeah, so because that love them man, and the fact is one of the true legends that's still around. As most of them, you know, it's rest in peace kind of vibe.
So, what was your best or your favorite collaboration with an artist?
Well, the truth is I enjoyed all the collabs I've ever done, but I think the most interesting one, what I enjoyed the most ultimately was with Taurus Riley and the Prezzimillz album. And that's part of the reason for that is because we were doing that song. We thought that we knew the production business. So me and him go around in the studio room while Dean was away, not here yet because I run late, and we decided, yeah, we don't need Dean for this, man, we got this. So we just go in there and we sing the whole song down on one track. Yeah man, it sounded great, man. As a matter of fact, that was what eventually came out of the record. But we never realized the kind of foolishness we do until he come and say, yeah man, the song sound nice, but out of the mix. So I mean, man, I said, and the tone of them on the same track. Sure, that's the synergy in the music, you know what I mean? And that's why it came out so great, because all the ad-libs and the lead vocal, both of us singing exactly on one track. Because we just going and sing on one mic, not taking considerations. Well, if we do that, we're never going to mix it. Yeah, I mean, but luckily for we managed to pull that one out. And so I'll say that one.
So, we're listening to some of your music, I realized that Augusto had a lot to do with your music. So, what would that message be to
Like, you know, responsible for your own actions because, you know, it sounds simple but it goes a far way. Now, many of us in August town, we basically had the same upbringing right across. So, when you hear people talk about bad parenting, maybe, no. Because we see I know many youths that went to better school than I did. You know, them parents are just as rigid as my mother and used to go to church every time. But it's because they never take responsibility for their own actions. They got misled by people who were already misled. You understand? Yeah. So therefore, a lot of them, we end up singing them funeral to the point where we sing so much funeral till one day I just tell myself, say, brother, it's unless I see them get sick in the hospital or something like that, or I meet in a car accident, I'm not about to call me now. I mean, like me just take myself out of that situation entirely. Because I watch a whole generation of man just dead. Yeah. And all man talk about them now, you know, people realize, even the other day I read a little thing and man still talk about some of these people admirably, like as a good guy and become legend. No brother, them become dead. You understand? And once you understand say, them not come back. We don't know them dead, we don't know them are going. But a lot of us from that same period are still alive, doing well in life. A man can see family grow up and whatever, and that is what truly counts. You understand? So take responsibility for your own actions. You understand what I say? We know wrong and right when we reach about 5. The reason why we never just eat out all of the food and the pot and chew, we know so mother just have to step in our throat and kill you. Right. So we know, thank you, understand? Do the right thing, take responsibility for your actions.
Alright. So, yes guys, so I want to say I give a special thanks to Mr. Dwayne for having us today.
Bless you.
For the interview. I just want to ask, can you lead us out with a song?
Though I never lived like you wanted, but I was mindful of what you taught me. Up on my bended knees, I beg Jaja please. Cause I've got the scars to show. I barely made it along life's road. But when my life got dark, that was the only spark. The light at the end of the road. Blessed Lord.
Yeah, and you're out.
Though I never lived like you wanted, I was mindful of what he taught me. So now I beg and plead, I'm on my bending knees. Cause Father, you rescued me, and I've